June 4, 1942, 0600 hours. Midway Atoll, Central Pacific. Salt spray lashes the deck as Ensign Albert, Bert, Ernest grips the cold metal of his plane, a brand new TBF Avenger, number T8 of Torpedo Squadron 8. The morning wind howls, and across the flight line, 6 Avengers idle under a haze of burning aviation fuel. The aircraft looks enormous, hulking wings, deep belly, and that unmistakable deep-throated growl from its Wright R-2600 twin cyclone engine. Even among his squad mates, the Avenger feels out of place, heavy, slow, a torpedo plane for a Navy that barely has any carriers left after Pearl Harbor. Ernest climbs into the cockpit. Ready, turret. Behind him, radio man Harry Ferrier gives a thumbs up. The intercom crackles. Let's show these boys the whale can swim. The 6 TBFs lumber down the coral runway. No escort, no backup. Just 6 men per plane, flying toward the most feared naval air force on Earth, the Imperial Japanese Navy's Kitobutai, fresh from its victories across the Pacific. At 0740, the Avengers spot their prey. 4 carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, and Hiryu, spread like sharks on a calm sea. Ernest dives low, skimming the waves at 200 knots. Tracer fire erupts ahead. Zeros slash through the formation like razors. 1 Avenger bursts into flame. Another spirals into the ocean. Within minutes, only one remains, Ernest's. His torpedo bay doors open. The aircraft shudders as the Mark 13 torpedo drops. He banks hard, hugging the sea, bullets tearing through his fuselage. The torpedo streaks, but misses. Ernest's hydraulic lines are gone. His turret's jammed, fuel leaking, but somehow the whale stays airborne, limping 500 miles back toward Midway. When he lands half dead, his tail gunner gone, only his Avenger remains. 5 others lie scattered beneath the Pacific. Japanese observers watching from the carriers laugh. Big, slow, stupid planes, 1-0 pilot mutters. Easier than training targets. They don't know it yet. This lumbering whale will return in swarms, and one day it will swallow their empire whole. Section 2. The Turning Tide. June 19, 1944. The Philippine Sea. 2 years later, the skies over the Pacific no longer belong to the rising sun. Aboard the USS Hornet, CV-12, Lieutenant George H. Bush, just 20 years old, fastens his harness inside the belly of his Avenger, call sign Barbara III. Below him, the ocean is a steel mirror dotted with carriers of Task Force 58, the most powerful naval force ever assembled. Admiral Raymond Spruance has one goal: crush the remnants of Japan's carrier fleet once and for all. At 1,000 hours, radar blips bloom across the screens. The Japanese fleet, Zuikaku, Shokaku, Taiho, names burned into every American pilot's memory since Pearl Harbor. Now they're within reach. Engines roar. Wings unfold. 40 Avengers rise into the blazing blue. As they climb, Bush glances left. Hellcats escorting above. Helldivers diving below. He can feel the vibration of power, hundreds of machines moving as one. The Avenger may still be slow, but its purpose has changed. It's no longer a lone whale. It's a hunter in a pack. Over the radio, enemy fleet in sight, bearing 320. Commence attack run. Bush levels off. The ocean below boils with anti-aircraft bursts. Flak shreds the sky. The Avengers dive. He spots Shokaku, once untouchable, now turning desperately. Bush releases. His torpedo splashes clean into the sea, a silver streak racing toward the carrier's midsection. Seconds later, impact. A thunderclap tears through the air. Smoke blooms from the carrier's flank, curling skyward. Shokaku, the pride of the Japanese Navy, staggers under the blow. Within hours, internal explosions consume her decks. She rolls, listing starboard, and vanishes beneath the waves. On Bush's return flight, His wingman murmurs over the radio. They called her a whale. Didn't they? Bush doesn't answer. He just watches the ocean below, quiet, endless, as smoke drifts on the horizon. The Avenger had been mocked for its bulk, its speed, its clumsiness. Now, it was the fist that broke Japan's carriers, one strike at a time. Section 3. The Pride of Their Fleet. October 25, 1944. Off Cape Ngago, Battle of Lady Gulf. Dawn breaks over a sea of flame. 4 Japanese carriers, Zuikaku, Kitos, Chiyoda, and Zuihu, steam eastward, serving as bait in Admiral Ozawa's desperate ploy to lure the Americans away from the Philippines. But this time, the Americans aren't fooled. The Essex, Lexington, and Enterprise launch wave after wave of Grumman TBF Avengers, now armed with new Mark 13 to 1 torpedoes, faster, more reliable, deadlier. From the cockpit of one Avenger, Lieutenant James "Red" Harmon scans the sea. Below him, Zuikaku, last survivor of the 6 carriers that struck Pearl Harbor, cuts through the swells. Its flight deck glistens, almost serene. Then the Avengers strike. Torpedoes fan out in a deadly arc. Explosions hammer Zuikaku's hull. Flames engulf her forward deck. Crewmen scramble, some still in dress whites. Sirens wail. The ship that once symbolized Japan's naval dominance is dying. Harmon circles back. Through his canopy, he sees sailors standing in formation on the listing deck, saluting as their ship slips beneath the Pacific. They fought with honor, his gunner mutters softly. Aye, Harmon says. And now the whale sings. The ocean swallows Zuikaku. Bubbles, oil, and silence. Above, Avengers turn home, their engines droning like a victory hymn. The Grumman Avenger, the lumbering whale, once laughed at by Japan's finest, had ended the era of the carrier that began at Pearl Harbor. By war's end, it would sink or cripple more than 60 Japanese warships, from destroyers to supercarriers. Its slow, steady wings carried the weight of vengeance and redemption. When the Pacific finally fell quiet, the Avengers stood as relics of iron persistence, proof that in war, the underestimated can become unstoppable. The end.